Hi, everybody. Today is Thursday, August 18th, and this is our sixth official episode of my Fit Family Force Power Hour. I'm joined here with my special co-host, Denise Meredith, because Denise, I was lisping there for a second. Denise Meredith. We send our well wishes to our Force for Health co-founder, Dr. Robert Gillio, who is recovering from a surgery this week. And so anyways, Denise is based out of Phoenix, and we've got some interesting things happening today. Figured today, Denise, let's use the first segment, and we're going to talk about protecting the gift, what it means to you. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions because you've got so many interesting hats on and perspectives here. We'll also, spend some time talking about coaching tips a little bit later. And, the last few weeks, we've talked about coaching tips for young moms and coaching tips for seniors. And Denise has got some really, really simple coaching tips all around one word that we'll talk about later. Our third segment that we'll kick off around 4:30 will be highlighting a really special boy who is one of our Advance the Dream fellows. His name is Cam Bell, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about some of his passions, his struggles, his strengths, and why he's excited to be at Force for Health this year with us. And then we're going to end the segment today with my own family and how we're kind of using some things with our tools to get ourselves all motivated and stuff. So, Denise, let's kind of come back to this one deal here. And I want to introduce who you are to our audience. I know you and I did an executive briefing on a 30-minute podcast over on our channel, but, briefly, who are you? Why do you feel I know to be so excited to be working with you in Arizona? And just share a little bit of your perspective before we dive in here.
Okay, thank you. So glad to be with you. It's going to be an exciting challenge ahead for us. I was born in Brooklyn, which usually sums up everything, but raised in New York City. I went to undergrad at Cornell and graduate school at University of Southern California. I have a degree, an East Coast degree, a West Coast degree. I have an animal degree, animal science, wildlife biology, and a people degree in public administration. So I sort of have it covered, Lucy. So well, I've had an interesting career. I was the first woman ever hired by the Bureau of Land Management by a federal agency, believe it or not. First woman they'd ever had. I used to call it 5,000 Cowboys and Me.
Right. And you've written a couple books about the experience, right?
And yeah, people enjoy those. I try to add humor to what's going on, everything, serious issues. But I feel if you can add a little humor, people remember it more, understand it, relate to it better. So yeah, my books tend to have a lot of humor in it, which I get some criticism. People say, oh, you should be more serious about it. It's, you get through life, you need a little sense of humor. So but I've lived in 6 different states, District of Columbia twice. I moved here from the District of Columbia in 1995. Time flies when you're having fun.
And here is
Phoenix, Arizona.
That's right.
Which is nirvana for me. Sunshine all the time, low cost of living, beautiful outside environment. So this is it. I've lived all over the country, and every place I lived was great. All parts of the country, learned a lot. People wonderful, but Arizona is where I'm going to be. So therefore, I've dedicated a lot of my efforts the past 25 years to improving the quality of life here.
And one of the things that I've learned about you in reading your books is how pivotal a role you played. If you go back 15, 20 years, Phoenix and Tucson, but Phoenix really in your neck of the woods. You were the state director for the Bureau of Land Management, but so much growth happened under kind of your watch, and even read about the 4 national monuments that kind of got, identified. Talk to us about kind of, your role as a civil servant over land and land use, and what role you feel that plays in population health, and why it's so important that the public sector has to be at the conversation when we're talking about healthy families.
Yeah, we have a wonderful gift people don't take enough advantage of it. A lot of people don't know about it. So throughout my entire career, my dad happened to grow up on a ranch. So I heard probably more about this type of stuff than other people. And my mother was a community activist with animal rights and things like that. So I became a crusader for wildlife, the outdoors, and also people make that happen. So that's what I learned most from majoring in wildlife biology and actually practicing that in the field is the animals do fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's the people we have to educate and how to deal with them. So, um, but I feel the outdoors plays such a major could play a much more major role in how we feel, in your emotions, in your physical health, every aspect of it. I did a lot of work in environmental education, which was a new field. I've been around a long time. It was a new field when I came on, especially with kids. So I worked with Disney, and it's funny. Today I was at a conference and sat next to a guy who did stuff with Disney. It's pretty unusual these days, but it was called Wonderful Outdoor World, and what we did is expose inner city kids to the outdoors, but not in a superficial way like it's usually done. Pile the kids in a bus, drive up the hill, do something outside for a little bit, drive back down, and that's the end of the day. So what we did is we taught them what was going on in their own neighborhoods, in their own
Mm-hmm.
parks, the animals, creatures that are there, the flowers that are there. Because I used to always joke that kids in the United States know more about Amazon rainforest than they do about what's in their backyard. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so it was also we worked with parents because that's a big part of it too. Parents don't have experience as either, so it's getting them both used to the outdoors, seeing that it's something. There are fun things that you can do outdoors. Kids, particularly inner city, think of outside as danger, 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 danger zone, and so to talk that there is some wonderful things going on out there that they could take advantage of was important. So we taught them also not life skills, but recreational skills that you could use that were relevant to their part of the country. So we had it in 7 different states. So in the West, in California, they learned how to ride horses. In Salt Lake City, they learned how to ski. In DC, they learned how to fish. So we tried to make um, outdoor stuff that was relevant to them. And the program, we had the program for years and years. And I feel it made a big impact on thousands of kids that we serviced during that time.
It really isn't a matter of if. There is no kid that doesn't feel some type of natural connection in nature when given the access and perhaps maybe the um, knowledge and support of just how to appreciate, one's role
Mhm.
within a biological ecosystem, whether it's within saguaros, you know, or oak trees or whatever. I think Rob and I had done a project along the 9/11 Memorial Trail. We were working with the group out there, and one of our interns actually did a study on all of the indigenous animals out there and said, we're going to do a little virtual scavenger hunt. So it's right in line. Talk to me about, and I love that you tied protecting the gift to Arizona's gift
Mhm.
of nature and outdoor, because you're absolutely right. Not everybody has that. And
Right.
if you really look at the Sun Belt and how we can really shine economically,
Mhm.
binationally, if we really worked a little bit closer together. Now, in the state of Arizona, African American demographics is about 4%,
Mhm.
5%,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
The Hispanic demographics is hovering around 40%, but we're projected to be majority brown skin by 2030, right?
Mhm.
We're getting a little Arizona centric because my co-host right here is going to be working kind of both alongside me, but then kind of against me in some upcoming health challenges that we've got up here. We've kind of split the state in half, and she's going to take kind of northern efforts. I'm going to take southern efforts. But you're right, and that's why I live here. And it's interesting when I read your books that you almost treat Phoenix, or like the state of Arizona, but again, Phoenix, as a character in the book,
Mhm.
because it does have so much to offer an entrepreneur, businesses looking to move out here, the value of
Mhm.
what we represent versus right? California and the options is very high.
Yes.
And we're coming to the end of this first segment, but protecting the gift. What's the process of establishing a national monument, and what were like the 4 national monuments that you did? I'm excited to just activate those and gamify the visitation of those so that everybody knows what the difference is between a national
Mhm.
monument, a
Mhm.
state park, a county trail, and a city
Yeah.
center, right?
Yeah.
Either a community center or park. And that's the role that
Mhm.
civic leaders play. This very first word right there with move. If it's not safe or
Mhm.
clean, or accessible, then your citizens can't move,
Yeah.
right? But talk to us a little bit about the national parks. I mean, the
Um,
national monuments. I'm
monuments.
sorry.
Yeah, we have national parks here too, but
Yes, exactly.
we have like one of the the number one in the Grand Canyon. But yeah, it's the Bureau of Land Management was formed. It was the miscellaneous agency. So if it wasn't a national park and it wasn't a national forest, it got thrown into the Bureau of Land Management. But what people didn't realize then, there's a lot of spectacular stuff that's not within those boundaries. So during the Clinton administration, they came up, well, we can have national monuments in other agencies. So the Bureau was a particular one. But it's very exciting. Now, the one I talked to about most likely, because it's the one people least think about, is Agua Fria. It's right off
Okay.
I-17. It's right off the
Okay.
I-17, right? So it's accessible. But just the culture there, it has a lot of pictographs and just it's spectacular when you think that that's art that's been around for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and
That's
hundreds of
right.
years, right? So it's combines the outdoors with people, and that's sort of what I like about that one. A lot of national parks, they're pretty much about the outdoors, the birds and bees and the trees, right? The Bureau of Land Management, I feel ours maybe integrate a little bit more people and history of people going on there. So that's the one I recommend people go to. Not in the summer. It's a little warm up here right now. I think I don't know what it was today, but we've had quite a few 114 days temperature days this year, but otherwise it's a great time to go.
The
So
monsoon has kept it super green though, and your
yes,
biologist mind has to always kind of probably
yeah,
identify with that.
yeah.
Uh, Another good friend of ours, Mr. Ross Zimmerman from the Beyond organization down here, is always bragging how Southern Arizona is one of the most biodiverse regions in the world. And it's kind of hard to believe because people just think desert, but like thinking about the animal and the plant diversity, biodiversity, it's
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, the image making, and I'm spent most of my life in media type work, is a lot at fault and what people's image of Arizona. They came up with the name Haboob. It didn't used to be called. It used to be called Dust Storm. Okay, came up with this dramatic name Haboob, and people say that to me all the time from other places. Oh my God, it's like, and living here, yeah, it's a dust storm. Okay, so there's an image, and people think desert. All the pictures they've seen of people crawling through the desert and dying when the desert is pretty spectacular place. A lot of wildlife, different types of wildlife, obviously. But for me, it was pretty dramatic because I went from Cornell University, upstate New York, where you have Canadian geese and white-tailed deer and things like that. My first job was in the desert in Nevada. So desert
I
pup.
think I read that in your book where they were like, what's the population here? And you were coming in from New York, and when they
Yeah,
said 200,000, you're
yeah.
like, that's like a small town. Like, what
Yeah,
are you
people
talking
can't
about?
believe, when I moved to Vegas, it was 200,000 people there, and I thought, "Yeah, that's the one apartment building in New York City," but they had, but that bighorn sheep, they had great stuff, but it was just desert tortoise, different things, so each part of the country has something spectacular, and it's just a matter of getting to know it. We have, Iron Horse National Monument down in your way, okay?
Where
That
is
was,
that? I'm
um
surprised I don't know.
yeah, it's near Tucson,
Okay.
and, and again, it's pretty much getting the word out. John McCain and he was one of my mentors. We worked on the Arizona Trail, which is one of the longest trails in the country. It's right
Yes.
here. It goes all the way from our northern border
Yep.
all the way to the southern border, right? And and a lot of what I worked on was getting the people in the areas right next to the trail to even know what kind of treasure they had, what kind of gift they had right in their neighborhood. So we had little events along the trail, little community events, and it brought people out. And they, oh wow, got this. You know, people didn't even know what kind of gift they had in their own backyard. So there,
I think that whole trail space is so interesting because that really actually does require a collaboration of
mhm,
various jurisdictions because a trail will go through,
yeah,
all different counties
hmm,
across. And again, to kind of compare trails and earn points along segments of those trails is a part of what we're trying to gamify together,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And activating the state and getting some competition going up. So that was a great first segment. Again, I can talk to you forever, but I'm going to go ahead and shift gears. Let me
okay,
just go ahead and take a 60-second break. Quick word from our partners here, and then we're going to come back with Denise and talk about the power of a single word as a coaching tip. So we'll be right back.
thank you.
Dailies is the leading educational success platform that provides families with the resources they need to help their children succeed. Through live personalized classes with certified educators, rich daily reports, and 24/7 academic support, we provide you with a personalized learning solution designed specifically to help your child surpass their academic goals. We offer supplementary learning experiences through Dailies Pods and a full comprehensive homeschool option through Dailies School. Unlock personalized learning for your child with Dailies.
Okay, so Denise, before we kick into the second segment, we're going to go ahead and just tease a little bit of this north-south competition that we're going to, be launching here at the end of the month, August 31st. I had the pleasure of working with two interns, one from University of Arizona, one from ASU. She's a softball player, and they did a quick little video on advancing the dream. This August month is pretty special in African American history, and I didn't realize it. And it's interesting how it's Black history. I mean, it's Black Business Month, and August 28th is like there was actually a movie on it because that Oprah featured a couple years ago because there are so many historic things that happened. Martin Luther King's "I Have a Dream," anniversary is August 28th, and the Hurricane Katrina was August 28th, and Emmett Till was August 28th. And so this is a good month to remind everybody it's more than just February for Black History Month. Let's remind ourselves to what are we doing to advance the dream. I just want to play you this little video.
Hi, my name is Ion Joffrey, and I'm an intern with the Force for Health Network operating out of the University of Arizona. And I'm here today with Kiara Kennedy. She's a fellow intern for the Force for Health, and she's also a softball player for Arizona State University's team. So we have a little bit of a university rivalry going on today, but I just wanted to do a quick interview with her about Advance the Dream. So Kiara, what does advance the dream mean to you, and how can others advance the dream in their day-to-day life?
I would say advance the dream and what it means to me is being able to find ways to bring out health and to promote health, to find ways to better individuals' health, not only just those around you, but your own health, for instance. So I would just say finding ways to better people's health, and then finding those individuals that can help you better your health. So reaching out to other people, also seeking, I would say, a hero, in my opinion, and how a lot of people have stated in Advance the Dream, how they have found heroes that have helped them advance their health and their dream to become a better person. So that's what I would say Advance the Dream is, and it comes in all shapes and sizes, forms, any type of race type, all around the world and across the board. So.
All right. Wow. Yeah, I completely agree. I think, yeah, Advance the Dream is all about diversity from all corners of the globe, getting everyone to be an advocate in community health and health for all. So yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate you spending the time here today with me. And hopefully everyone can use this video as an inspiration to advance the dream in everyday life. Thank you, Kiara.
Of course.
I just had to kind of play that a little bit. It just kind of sets the stage. And so I'm looking forward to launching My Healthy Arizona with you at the end of the month. But let's shift gears here and go into coaching tips. I thought I had a little graphic here. Now, before going into it, I put a couple of the copies of some of your books. Oh my gosh, this is like 2 of like a dozen. But these are the 2 books that I was talking about. And but you're also a children's book author, and you have a nonprofit. And you had posted this maybe a couple of weeks ago. In fact, you and I originally met at the world famous U of A book festival when you were down here, right? That was the first time we actually got to meet. And so let's talk about, why are you so passionate? What's the nonprofit that you work with called? And, why do you think it's so important for parents? Just one single word.
Okay. Read to Kids US is the name of the nonprofit. And what we want to do is encourage parents and grandparents to read to kids 15 minutes a day. Very simple. It's a simple task, for some reason hard to do with people. But I, again, base it on my own experience growing up. And one thing I really learned in coming down to the Tucson Festival, which is one of the biggest in the country, festival, was, wow, it was great to see that people still read. So that was good. But also everybody that came up to my booth, they all said, yeah, my parents used to read to me. It was a common frame to everyone that came up to the booth. Yeah, I remember my mom used to read to me, dad used to read to me. And so what we want to do is catch that bond, bring it back. Right now, parenting seems to be people being chauffeurs. That's like a big job in life with the kids, is taking them to soccer, taking them to the ballet lesson, taking them. We need some time just to bond quietly. Okay. Quietly, relax, just you and the child. And we're aimed at 3 to 6 year olds, because that's what I think is a really impressionable time. And so 15 minutes a day. You have 15 minutes for Pilates. You have 15 minutes for your child. So it's something that seems simple, and that's what I try to make it a habit. 15 minutes a day, people gradually maybe work up, but just start that. That's not going to kill you to do that. It's a time when you can sit quietly. The books, particularly the books that I write, are about my dog, Ari, overcoming obstacles in life. Okay, obstacles to kids are a lot different than obstacles to us. So obstacles might be the first haircut or going to the doctor for the first time. Those types of things. So that's what Ari, my dog, talks about, gets kids over that moment. But what that 15 minutes can do, what that 15 minutes with them can do is bring up all kinds of other questions that they may have had. Okay, other issues. The latest book about Valentine is about bullying, in a way. And maybe you never had that discussion with your kid.
Are you kidding me? I mean, my
Maybe.
husband's South African American, and we've had all sorts of discussions throughout the whole family of what I didn't want to have. So,
and sometimes kids hide that, what's going on, and outside the home. So these kinds of books can bring up issues that you really need to talk about, but you haven't had that time alone to talk about. So there's so many different things. I have a list of like the 10 top benefits of reading to kids on our website, which, thank you for posting, Read to Kids US. You can go on there and see that. But I have other authors. So it's a group of authors. We all have children's books that fit right into this mission that we're trying to have. So I think it really forms everything you think about in life. It sounds dramatic, but true. bonding with your parents, okay, the issues that you talk about, the culture that they can impart to you, and the kinds of books that you choose to read to them. There's so many ways that it can be beneficial to your kids. It doesn't look like it's a big thing, but it turns out to be a really big thing.
And as we talk about this whole Fit Family Force, initiative, it really is kind of for all different types of families, right? And so we're talking with you, like our strategic partner Dailies, this whole 3 to 6 year old space of like young parents. Slow down. Now, I will admit, sometimes when I did read to my kids, I would flip through some pages, like pretend that they were stuck together to maybe get Isn't that terrible? But, I love the fact that this is very manageable for busy parents too. There's like not that many words, and it's not that long. You're not committing to more than probably just the 15 minutes to get through the whole book.
Right.
So I thought that was a
these
good
books,
reminder, because everybody's like this.
Yep.
You know?
And people tell me they can read them over and over. One thing, parents, you get sort of tired of watching Frozen, maybe. but the books, and they're fun. So I get feedback from parents. They like the books as much as the kids like the books. So that's rewarding for me to hear.
What's kind of one of your favorite? Do you work with seniors maybe also to get them to read, or is this really like a message to parents, or kind of what's your main tactic?
Yeah, in fact, it's more, I guess, inspired to do it by grandparents.
Oh, yes.
Grandparents to do it, because during the pandemic, think of how many grandparents were separated from their grandchildren.
Yeah.
They couldn't, because they were susceptible to COVID or whatever. They couldn't travel because of COVID. And I felt really bad that that's a very important bond here in the United States. Not as strong as it used to be, obviously, because people live all over. But a lot of grandparents are raising their grandkids.
Yeah.
That's the reality. Unfortunately, but that's the reality. So
that's why we want the Fit Family Force to be very loosely, defined as to whatever we feel like. No time in our history that we've been living, Denise, and I'm not that, far from you, have we actually seen the downside of not being physically fit. It's so sad to say that obesity played a big role in the, edge of COVID. Right. And so it's now we look at our family members in a more caring and empathetic way. It's more of this team effort to say, come on, Uncle, I don't want you to, let's go walk, let's go move. So when I used to publish my magazines many years ago, I always said if it just affects one person, I'd be so excited. And I remember getting stories all the time where the kids would be the ones that would go home, say, hey, let's go get this, let's go out for a walk. Let's go move. Let's raid the refrigerator and do what this says, so it really is a family thing. So, well, it's been great to talk to you, Denise. I am looking forward to launch in Arizona again. It's August 31st. myhealthyarizona.com. We'll be doing a little statewide competition. We'll be launching in Pennsylvania as well. And, really it's designed if you are using if you're a group leader, if you're a community leader, a mom, dad, you want to get involved a little bit more on population health issues, got a little activity going on here in the studio. Yes. Right. Then, join for free and follow along and play in the game. So Denise, I will see you later. Thank you very much for your time. And I'll be bringing on my next guest. Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Okay. So we're going to go right into our next segment. We've got a special guest. His name is Cam Bell. Cam, I believe right now is in, we've got, let's see, Cam. So Cam is based in Missouri right now. He has a interesting job with heritage photography, but I've been working with him as a kind of a fellow for Advance the Dream, and I've just been so impressed with everything that he's been wanting to do, and I wanted to invite him. He is my Force for Health hero because his outlook on life and what he's really trying to do is just really inspiring to me. So I wanted him to come on and have a conversation with me. Let's have some questions. So Cam, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing fabulous. Thank you for
Good.
taking the time and allowing me to give you a little bit of praise as my Force for Health hero. You know, well, tell folks a little bit about, how old are you? What are you doing right now? And why are you leaning in with Dr. Rob and I with the Force for Health?
So right now I'm actually in St. Louis, Missouri. It's not a bad area. It's not too bad. I've been here for about a month now. And we've essentially, we've just been kind of all around. I've been kind of wandering around a little bit. It hasn't been too bad. And really, we've been just kind of stretched on work, but it's a really big department that we're doing. So it's about 1,300 of these guys. And it's a police department, but it's actually a county police department, which is very strange. I've never seen anything like that. But yeah, that's on that end of things. It's been a long month here since we've been in Missouri. But other than that, that's pretty much what we've been doing down here. Just, the typical things. We'll be going to Alabama next week. And after that, I'll be heading over to New Mexico, Santa Fe. So that'll be pretty interesting as well.
And so, let's dive a little bit deeper into that. So when you say you're out here and you're doing some work, I just was so fascinated at the fact that, you and your partner are sent out to tell the story digitally in photography of our first responders, right? And so you must meet the most interesting people. And so who are you working with right now?
So right now we're working with a police department, but it's county. It's the St. Louis County, the police department. So it's the whole of pretty much St. Louis. It's a very large department. So you do eat some very interesting and intriguing characters. I meet these guys daily, so pretty much I'll have different types of people that sit down in the chair with me, and we have different type of conversations. And one of the biggest things that I'll say is I'm always meeting somebody different. They may have the same uniform on or the same maybe job title or rank, but these are totally different people every time they sit down. So I like to have a little fun.
And talk to me about how did you get this job, and what does this actually look like? So you and one other person are sent out, and then between the two of you, you're capturing, or you're going out with a photographer, or walk me through what, this job is for you.
So I actually got put on the job by my actual partner right now that I'm working with. He was telling me about it, and I put in for it. And then, fun fact, I actually didn't get it on the first try, but he actually has put in a good word for me and told him hey, this guy, he's, he'll put in the work and whatnot. And, to one knowledge, I definitely held to his word on that. So they, the company I've actually built a big rapport with the company now. And, I bet a bit of a foundation with the company. Now, as far as me the job, it's great. The job's great. The way I came about it is very unorthodox, but, here I am. I'm here now. And it's great. I really enjoy it. Different types of people that I meet. I can do it because I am a very young guy. All the traveling that goes into it, it's not for everybody. It's just a lot that goes on. And then, like I said, you meet so many different types of people. And then these aren't just regular civilians. These could be people that have, they've had detectives. I've had a lot of homicide detectives here recently. So this one guy, he was talking about all the bodies he sees. And so, that energy, you're constantly around that energy. And you do pick up a lot of traits with them, because I know I have. So I've had a friend of mine tell me that I picked up a lot of police traits. So
police trait, interesting.
Yes.
What I'm not going to let that hang. So what do you mean?
So things like the way that I talk or like my demeanor, maybe some things that I've said, the way that I, present myself, things like that. Like, they're saying like that's kind of like some of the things that police act. But I mean, I can see that being the case because police is basically like my family. I mean, I'm around them so much. I'm more around policemen and firefighters than I am my own family. So, I mean, pretty much that makes a lot of sense.
You've been, as long as you've been working with Rob and I, you know what a special place in our heart we have for first responders, right? Across the whole board, whether from military all the way down to Main Street first responders all the way. So I just thought that your role with Heritage was so interesting, especially as we're getting ready to kind of launch some interesting citizen challenges that will like pit us up against. Are you ready? And see how your fitness level would compare to your local, first responder academy or something like that. So looking forward to kind of building that with you, but love to dive a little bit deeper here because one of the things that I also was very impressed with you by is some of the challenges that you just layered and layered and layered and layered into our conversation when we were talking about social determinants of health is a real deal. Access to education, access to finance, access to healthcare, your zip code, all of those things play into a person's ability to thrive, health and wealth wise. And so talk to us a little bit about some of the challenges that you've gone through your youth in school and some of the things that you've done and said to yourself to get through some of the tough times.
So a lot of the times, even from like a young age, I went through a lot of surprisingly like mental health. So when it came from elementary school all the way up to like high school, I pretty much struggled with a lot of mental health issues. Albeit it was a lot more restrained when I was younger, so it wasn't really as present until I got older, and then everything kind of floated above, and things started getting worse and worse. And this is just because of some of the issues that I've struggled with regarding like some of the, I guess you could say, because I've had like some father issues, my father not being there. But then I've had some also manipulative like parents and things like that with certain aspects. And a bit of me being coddled a little bit, not really being taught certain things has kind of led me to kind of restrain a lot of my emotions inwards instead of like talking about it or me going outwards with my emotions on things. And it's caused me a lot of heartache and pain and stress because I never talked about anything that I felt. That's because of how my parents were, telling me never to say anything or not to mention anything or keep everything enclosed. And that's kind of like what led me to having a lot of mental health issues, especially this freshman year of high school. And from sophomore year, I had a breakdown and I pretty much was out of commission. I never actually finished high school and I didn't go to college or anything like that. So I don't have a degree or nothing to really show of any type of education. So for me, one of the biggest things is like where I'm at now. It's kind of like a testimony to like where I've come from, because I've come a long, long way, from pretty much being a kid that was bounced in and out of mental hospitals, like to the point where I didn't take a lot of meds, but it was the point where I was, very suicidal, and it was really bad. Like mental health wise was terrible. And then obviously mental health affected your physical health, spiritual. And now, here I am now where I've healed from a lot of the things. And this is like the outcome, and, work and me deciding to eat better, work out has led me to where I am now. So.
And those lows that you were talking about, that was then during junior and senior year.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
Because how did COVID make that like way worse for you, or kind of the same, or how did COVID affect you?
I think that's a really good question. COVID actually didn't help at all. I actually went back to school to finish out school in my junior year, but unfortunately, because of COVID, I went back home. So I was constantly staying at home, and that was a safe space for me. So I ended up getting comfortable again and getting down again. I never got anything done because we were doing everything online, and I just couldn't do it. Online was kind of like my place that I would go to as for comfort. So me moving and constantly doing things is what keeps my mind going, and it keeps me busy, and it keeps me staying out of my head, because when I get in my head, it gets really bad. I start spacing out and stuff. So I hardly get out of my head anymore because I stay busy. I flood my mind with good thoughts and listen to things, try to read books as much as I can. I need to read more.
Like
but
our former guest just said,
yes,
reading, it
right.
has a very interesting impact. And you are 19 or 20?
20.
20, that's right.
Mm.
What would you tell maybe your younger self if you were to have a chance to talk to ninth graders, 10th graders right now who you may feel might be struggling a little bit? Do you have any words of wisdom? What would you tell your younger self?
So the first thing is, I would say, stay consistent with anything. When you start something, just finish it. Now, if it's just not right, if it's not necessary for you, then I would say, you move on and you figure something else out, but just stay consistent. That's one of the biggest things that I would say. And then one of the second things that I would definitely say is, essentially just be always willing to learn. I think that's another big one, willing to learn, because I was very surface minded. So I just kind of took things for what they were, and then I thought I kind of knew everything, but it's not the case. Always be willing to learn something new, and be ambitious, man. You got to dream. I mean, I feel like having the mindset of a 5-year-old, even though when you're an adult, is a very good skill set and tool to have, because when you're young, you dream of all types of stuff. You come up with all types of things, and you may think as you get an adult that it's unattainable, but that's not the case. Keep dreaming those big dreams. Keep thinking of the big possibilities that can happen, because they can happen. You just got to put in the work and be patient. Is one of the other things that I would say. Being patient, that correlates to what I just said, because when you're patient on things, you allow things to come into fruition. You just got to put in the work. Now to come on to the next thing that I'll say, which is put in a lot of effort. You got to put in effort in anything that you do in life. In all walks of life, everybody has to put in effort. It doesn't matter if you're a janitor to a CEO of a business. Effort. It's going to require effort in pretty much anything.
So persistence. Be persistent.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to dream.
Yes.
You got to put in the work and the effort, and then you got to be patient.
Right.
My husband always says success is a planned event. And so that's what he always tells his guys. He's a performance coach, more athletic, but he has more of an impact probably mentally than he thinks on the performance attitude of his athletes. And he also says dream, believe, focus, achieve. So you basically just nailed that for him. So I appreciate your time coming in from Missouri, and you keep doing what you're doing. I'm excited to work with you as we develop the Advance the Dream. I know we're going to be developing a little teen voice or youth voice podcast series with you coming up. So appreciate your work, Cam. Keep it up. Like you said, you can do whatever you feel. You can do whatever you put your mind to. Just listen to your own words and, make it happen. So thanks for being a guest. And we're just going to take a little 60-second breaking in, quick little message from our strategic partners in case you've got some young kids that might need a little bit of tele-teaching and tele-mentoring going on with Daily Pods. And we'll be right back with my family rounding out the show today. If you're going to say it, you better do it. And I've got some fun things to talk about after this segment. So Cam, thank you. And we'll see you in a bit. We'll see you next week.
See you, Lucy.
Okay.
Dailies is the leading educational success platform that provides families with the resources they need to help their children succeed. Through live personalized classes with certified educators, rich daily reports, and 24/7 academic support, we provide you with a personalized learning solution designed specifically to help your child surpass their academic goals. We offer supplementary learning experiences through Dailies Pods and a full comprehensive homeschool option through Dailies School. Unlock personalized learning for your child with Dailies.
Okay, so I'm coming back, and my next, let's see, I think I've got this picture. I thought I did, and it's a little, it's the wrong image. I can't believe I did the wrong image. Anyways, my next guest is, that's her 20, almost 30 years ago coming in, and then is sitting on top of a family picture. But, part of what we're trying to do here is make it fun for us moms, dads, teens, and seniors to help each other, get involved with each other, maybe stay involved. And so I'm having Elizabeth York, who is one of my actual family members. And we were together. In fact, Elizabeth is Gary around. She's doing exactly what we love anyways, which is celebrating and supporting a family birthday, right?
Actually, yes. So our cousin, my cousin Lisa, your sister-in-law, her husband Gary, it is his birthday. And we come just about every year to Monterey to enjoy Car Week. It's one of Gary's things that he's done for a very, very, very long time. So it's good family time to get together, and we always enjoy it every year. Yeah.
You guys are all up in Sacramento, and you guys get to go do the fun family things in California. And Glenn and I are out here like, I want to play also. But every year we do finally connect at what has just become such a special time of year, the holidays. And this year was had a little much more sentimentality around it with, a funeral for Mama that finally, happened. And then, of course, the holiday season. So there was extra kind of energy to hold each other tighter, I feel.
Yeah.
And here I am trying to talk about Force for Health and families and stuff. And I haven't even challenged my own family to do it. So I thought that was kind of cool that, we always have a house full of like 40, 50 family members are coming in from all over. We don't see them the rest of the year. And let's go ahead and when I pitched it, you stepped up and said, I'm going to help you. So thank you for stepping up.
Of course, well, you've actually been challenging me ever since I've known you. And I believe I met you when I was about 15. So I think that's when you came into our family at that time. And you were very much an inspiration to me at that point. And so that has just continued on. And when you brought up what you were doing with the app and Force for Health, I immediately just wanted to jump in and just be a part of that and help out with however we can rally the family together to work toward this journey of health and fitness. We're a very close family.
And you're not just anybody out of the family that stepped up. I mean, you actually have your certification, you're a personal trainer. I mean, that's not what you do professionally, but you just went and got it just so you could know what to do, right?
Exactly. So I've always been, it's always been an interest of mine. And again, a large part of that stems from our family. So my cousins, Lisa, Wesley, Glenn, my own father, who was in the Navy. And when I was from a very young age, he was always very physically active, weightlifting, running, very early memories of running with him and watching him lift weights and really being into the fitness aspect of it. And then as I grew up a lot around my cousins, one of them being your husband, just seeing their energy level and just watching them excel in all areas and sports in particular, and really spending a lot of time with Lisa, your sister-in-law, my cousin Lisa.
Yeah.
She was very much an inspiration to me as well. So as the years went on and I came to know you, and you were actually, I believe, in the fitness industry at that time, you actually did a competition, which Lisa.
Oh my Lord, you're going way back.
But I'm telling you, Lucy, that right there, just that connection propelled me to really just pursue the passion for fitness and health that I have. And so, yes, I became a certified personal trainer. I do that on the side. I do it really just to help others. But I mainly did want to do it to benefit the family. So I like
And
to
that
think
was that was years and years and years before, when it was just something that you personally wanted to do, like naturally just increase your health literacy, so that if mama or papa or, sister or auntie, anybody needed your advice, you'd be like, hey, I actually know that, right?
exactly, because I long felt that, a lot of people just don't have the knowledge, or they don't even understand how things work, or what's possible, or what the human body can do. Lisa is an RN, so she is instrumental with a lot of the health issues that the family has faced. But just being overall just healthy and energetic, and just having the energy to be able to be there for each other for many years to come. We are a very close family, and of course we would all like to see us all together for a very, very long time. So just being able to promote that longevity is something that I wanted to be able to have that knowledge to do.
And 30 years together, family, right? We see and we live through so much. And I'm so thankful for Lisa. If she's around, she should come on, so we can say hi. But family members who step. What'd you say?
I would hope that she could be a future guest for you.
Absolutely. I'm going to do a whole segment on her. Exactly. But when that one family member who steps up to be the voice, that health advocate for whoever is going through, your mama, or, and Nana, Philomena, her mama, your auntie, right? And your dad, when it goes into this long care transition, and where you're managing facility and care and all of that, to have somebody within the family take the lead and actually be knowledgeable in that lead, it was such, talk about protecting the gift. To protect the gift, you better have someone in the family that knows their stuff and that can deal with the healthcare system. I can say right now that, my partner, Rob, is a Mayo trained, physician, who's just gone through surgery, and his wife is very knowledgeable about the health space, nutrition and nursing, and yet they're still having to navigate themselves, 1 to 2 weeks post surgery. Still surprising at how difficult it can be to navigate a health space with anybody post surgery or in some type of chronic condition.
Yes. And so what I found going through my own parents' health issues, both of them were diagnosed with colon cancer. I did find that I in my immediate family, as far as my mom and dad and my sister and I, there was nobody in there had the knowledge or the wherewithal to even understand the questions to ask the doctor. So
that's right.
I feel like I was very instrumental in that process, and I was happy to do it. And I very much did a lot of research to help in that process. It can be very intimidating to interact with doctors and the whole hospital system. So it's better to kind of know and understand the inner workings and how to deal, or what questions to ask, what to look for. I just
We're also first generation immigrant children. I mean, like, my dad was a white guy from Pennsylvania, and your dad was a white guy from the States.
From Georgia, from the South. And so, yes, my mother being from India,
right.
Actually born and raised partially in India. There again, she comes over here, and they don't have an understanding of a lot of things either. So, yes, there is a little bit of
both from an immigrant standpoint, but also just generationally. I feel like our generation of women, meaning, post the 70s, I was born in 69, you're a few years, I probably shouldn't talk about age, but that's okay. I'm actually grateful. But grateful.
Let's not disclose years.
But grateful to have the energy. We're both in that mid life deal, and still feeling energetic, feeling great. You look beautiful. So, forget shaming age. We should embrace and celebrate.
Age is nothing.
Exactly.
I would really think that the goal is like for my mother, what I'm trying to do. So my mother will be 75 in November, and she is a colon cancer survivor. And my goal for her is by the time she's 90, which she will make it to 90, she's able to still lift 9 pounds. So 9 pounds by 90.
Oh,
is
interesting.
the goal.
Okay,
Yes.
so see,
We're
that's part
working.
of one of the senior force challenges that perhaps we can like co-develop together. Look, you know, we're coming, I feel like I could talk to you forever. And of course, maybe you'll be like one of my regulars, you know, as
I would
we
love
go
to.
through this next season together, because the Howl and the Breakers will go ahead and lead. Rob, to me, my wife in charge and asking those questions helped my life. Rob Gillio,
Maybe
post surgery, has he's commenting on our conversation live here, and
oh, great.
again, we wish him well. And Rob, thanks for joining. But you know, let's. I had one more question that I wanted to get through to you, because not everything's easy schmeezy, right? I mean, it takes, you got to feed it, and you got to lean on people, and there might be some resistance and stuff. You know, we went ahead and launched it, and we got, out of maybe the 40 family members from the holidays, I think we activated maybe half of them. So maybe there's like 22, 23 in our group. And we were even able to activate family members into our fitness, you know, Family Fit Force group from Spain, and my twin brother and his wife from Maine, and some cousins from Atlanta. And so, but, and you get started and everything's great. And then it kind of just like fizzles. So what do you think the key and the spice is? What do you think the key is to success here?
So maybe to keeping the momentum. Well, particular to our family, it's, I don't want to say I have to ride them, but I do frequently check in. And you know, of course, there was the beginning excitement, and you know, everybody was on board, and you know, the whole kickstart to the new year. And so it's just a matter of keeping that energy alive and keeping the motivation alive. You know, one of the main things that I've come to understand is that you can't base things on motivation, because honestly, motivation is more of a mood. You know, it's more of a feeling. So you can't wait until you're motivated. It just has to become a practice. And so I'll just frequently check in with everybody. And, you know, I do get a lot of resistance, but when I'm feeling too much resistance, rather than push, and like just totally turn them off, I'll step back a little bit. You just have to know when to pull back a little bit and give somebody their space and time. But I frequently check in. And one of the things I really do like about the Force for Health app is that on the coaching side, I'm able to set up workouts for individuals and have to follow those plans. But you can also track your food intake, which is very important. You can also track your workouts. So I've been really pushing those two aspects of the app as well.
I think that that's cool. I think that, you know, once you and I start stepping into a more active co-leading role again, which is just kind of sort of like every other day with a little post into the group, and then start showing leaderboards, you know, you got your little Pete's coffee card as part of one of the gifts. And actually, one of our cousins, can I just say one of our cousins, I need to have Kaylin Howell. I'm calling you out right now, Kaylin Howell. Yes. Kaylin Howell. Yeah. Our cousin from Las Vegas, she's lost 40 or 50 pounds over the course of the last 12, 24 months. But more importantly,
she is self-driven. She has done an amazing job with herself. She hasn't waited for the motivation. She just went in and did it. And she's on the Force for Health leaderboard quite a bit, because she's so energetic.
She's been on our global leaderboard since she started. Okay. But look out, because I just got a wearable too. So, you know, we'll see if we can get our steps all in. So yeah. Elizabeth, thank you. You are my, you know, co-coach, assistant coach for Howl Breaker Family Fit Force. And if you are, again, a mom, dad, you know, senior teen that wants to kind of team up and maybe come on board for some fun competition, you know, start for free, Family Force app, the forceforhealth.com, and the QR code on our deal will actually take you there for a free membership as well. So thanks, enjoy. Please give Garrett a happy birthday hug for us. Please give my love to Lisa. Thank you for joining me for my own Family Fit Force segment, and we'll see you later. Awesome. Namaste.
Bye.